Welcome, fans, once again to KB's Unemployed show, the only show on the internet where you can sit at your job and watch a guy who doesn't have one anymore. What will KB do today? Change guitar strings, perhaps? Grade papers? Worry about his future? Who knows? The only thing we know is it's guaranteed to make you question your intelligence, simply because you're watching it. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the unemployed lifestyle of KB.
The pods are now open.
Look at my cat. Look at my cat. Look.
I like to study about the world cities and airports.
KB brings just great instincts. That's what you love about him.
Oh, that boy ain't right.
If Andy yearns for Brenda and Brenda cares about Charlene, who pines for Andy, the three of them form one of these. Kara.
What is it, threesome?
No.
Taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit.
Lesbians. It's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
I don't mind a bit of bush.
37 in a row? Shut the f*** up, okay? Shut the f*** up. Do you want to start drinking?
Yes.
You know, I'm going to have to go for 420, Bob.
Cheez-Its! Cheez-Its! Cheez-Its!
Light this candle.
He's right. Let's light this candle.
Light the candle.
Are you ready for it?
The candle is lit and it is shining brightly. Welcome to the December 23rd edition of the KB's Unemployed show. I'm going on and moving on right now. I believe I'm looking at somewhere in the area of 10 days of unemployment. But I'm here to tell you, I am loving every minute of it. Okay, that's all I've got to say. Coming off a big night last night. If you're on my YouTube page, it is up under the cover song of the day. Last night was the Sleighriders event at Shank Hall, and I really think I'd love to see them actually videotape the whole thing and share it, because in the Milwaukee area and the Wisconsin area, there's so many talented musicians, and this was the 45th year in a row that all these musicians got together, and every year they do it for Variety Children's Charities. And we all kind of come together and put together this superstar band, and everyone brings a couple of songs that they want to do. And it's not, it's not the normal stuff that you would expect. I mean, people try new arrangements of things. And so last night was no different. We saw everything from Chrissy Clovis singing Dolly Parton's 9 to 5 to Rubber Band Man, the old Spinners song, Rubber Band Man. Johnny B did that. It was absolutely incredible. And I even got in on the act with a cover of, and I'm a white boy. I did a cover of Night Shift by the Commodores. And I had a band behind me I'm trying to think. Let me do the counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12, 17 people. I had a band of 17 people. Had 3 percussionists, had a guy playing percussion, a guy playing drums. And special thanks to my buddy Brian Brundle, who was played the I didn't know he played the triangle through the whole freaking song. And I didn't see it until I saw the video that he's up there going ding, 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 ding. And it was just a fabulous group of musicians. And never had the opportunity. Had 6 horns, 5 backup singers, 2 guitarists, bass player. Oh, that makes 18. I forgot to count the bass player. Bass player, drummer, 3 percussionists. It was absolutely fantastic. And it's really a great event. And next year we'll be moving on. It'll be the 46th consecutive year. Raised about, $6,000 or $7,000 for Variety Children's Charity. So, excuse me. Hey, Brent from Franklin, welcome. And Jacob in a van, welcome to the both of you. But if you go to my YouTube page, you'll see it under the cover of the day, and you'll see the whole band. It is just absolutely incredible. And a special thanks to Peter Jest at Shank Hall, who always always takes care of the musicians and the artists. There's so many people that that work on this, but it's a great event. And yeah, like I said, kind of blessed to be able to play with musicians of this uh, of this caliber. So today we're rolling in to the holiday season. Oh, I'd like to point out that I did get a job. I have a new gig. Um, being unemployed, I think it's almost the same as going through the stages of the Kubler-Ross 5 stages of grief when somebody dies. It's you got your denial, I think your acceptance, denial, anger. Um, Let me look up the 5 stages of grief here to make sure what they are. Um, yeah, the 5 stages of grief that you end up with are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And I'm trying to think. I'm kind of going through these things out of. I'm kind of going through them out of order. People always ask me if I was angry. It's like I'd be angry if there was a logical reason, but there's not. I'm not going to get into the details of anything. I haven't really been bargaining at all, trying to make a deal or trying to rectify or some things in my head, reconnect some things in my head, if you will, in order to figure out and make me feel okay about things. Yeah, denial, shock, depression. Nah, I got other things to be depressed about. But there is a very deep sadness about that loss. And then acceptance. It's like, hey, it is what it is. But I've got a job lined up, and at my age, I'm like, screw it. I'm not going back into the workforce. I kind of like this unemployment stuff. So what I am going to be doing is starting in April, I am getting a gig. It's actually my dream gig. It's something that for years and years and years, I said, when I retire, it's just been accelerated a little bit. When I retire, this is what I want to do. And I'm going to be a starter at a golf course. I am going to be a starter and a ranger at a golf course, which I'm absolutely thrilled about. So that is what I will be doing. Now, I'm not going to say what golf course it is at the moment, only to tell you that it is one of the major golf courses in southeast Wisconsin. So I'll get to hang out, have an unbelievable time, catch some rays, meet some people, drive a cart around, ranger, and say, hey, can you pick it up a little bit, and things like that. And, are you enjoying your day, sir? It's perfect for me, absolutely perfect for me. I would do anything to be around the game of golf anyway. So this is absolutely outstanding to be able to do that. And I was explaining to the people that I was meeting with, I said, when I was a kid growing up in Antigo, Riverview Golf Course was about 3 miles from my house, and I would go and it's one of those things you go, they're going to call bullshit on me, but it's not. I would go and I would ride my bike out to the golf course with my golf bag. And this is back when there were no such thing as carry bags. Everything was one of those leather bags or fake leather bags. And it didn't have the X strap on the back. So you had it like slung over one shoulder on the side. I'm trying to ride my, I'm trying to ride my bike 2.5 miles out to go to the golf course. And I would ride my bike out to play. And then in order to play for free, what I would do would be rake traps. I'd go around the course and I would rake traps. I would hand pick the range. They didn't have a range picker. They just had that red bag, and you'd have to go out and hand pick the range. And I do all that just to be around the game of golf. So to be able to do this, now I'm pretty psyched about it. Now it's not going to replace a whole lot of income, but there was no way in God's green earth at my age, I was going back into any type of a career job. And I always said that unless something changes, and I don't think it will, I don't see anything changing in the near future. But I always said that when I was doing radio, there were only two people in Wisconsin, if I was staying in Wisconsin, that I would do a radio show with. And I've gotten to do a radio show with both of them. Dave Luzak over at KLH, which I did 22 years in the morning with Dave. Dave is as a radio guy, he's one of the best in the business, and taught me a lot about it. And the other one was Drew Olson, who was my best friend for, really, really good friend of mine for 30 years. And I think the only reason I would say that I would only do those two shows or work on the air with two people, those two people, is they're probably the only two that get me. I know that there are people that came in and guest hosted, and we get along just fine. But other people have said, "Oh, you got to watch out for him," and like make people afraid of me. And it's like, there's no reason to be afraid of me. My mind is just kind of goofy. That's all. But I do have something going on that I'm going to be able to do that. I'm going to keep doing this. And I will tell you this much, with this YouTube thing. And as I've been explaining all along, I don't really care whether or not this is good. But you got to keep shoveling coal into the fire on YouTube. Otherwise, you lose any traction that you get. But after the first of the year, I've got guests that are going to be coming on and doing this with me, for about an hour a day. And I'll have special guests probably 3 days out of the week for the show. And some of the special guests you may or may not recognize from other media outlets, let's just say, who have gone, I guess you could say, silent for a while. So some of them may come back to the world of media and talk about things like, oh, I don't know, Badgers, Packers, maybe. So that'll be coming up after the first of the year, which ought to be great. Ought to be great. It'll be more fun. This thing is evolving as you know it. What I want you guys to do, here we go. And I don't know if he's with us today. If he is, great. If he's not, I get it. But Ben, I just want to say we had Ben up in the 414, who co-hosted the show once last week. And if you want to co-host the show, it's pretty easy. All you have to go is you go to drewandkb.com, and there is a contact page, and you fill it out with your name and your name and all your pertinent information, and give me one sentence. All I want to hear is one sentence why you would make a perfect co-host for the show. And you come in and sit in with me and co-host for an hour, talk about whatever you want. Actually, when Ben was here and did it, there he is. Ben's here and he's present. It was an awful lot of fun. We talked about Legos, which are really, gaining in popularity, if you will. I can't believe how many people are into Legos. When I was in Italy, there were Lego stores everywhere. So maybe, and they were in the only American shows they had on was Lego Masters. I texted my son who was out in Boston after I had the shooting at Brown University. I texted him and I said, hey, what's the coverage like out there? What is the media coverage like out there compared to here? And he texted back. He goes, what situation? I'm like, the shooting at Brown College. It's in Rhode Island. It's, 30 minutes from where you're living, maybe a little farther. And he goes, oh, I didn't even hear about it. I'm too busy building Legos and watching Puck. So the Lego thing is pretty intense. Pretty intense. The other thing that you can do is in the comments section of anything on the YouTube page, tell me what you would like to see for different topics. I'm just kind of feeling my way through this. And I'm thinking I'm kind of getting a little bit of a structure now where I'll have some sort of an introduction, and then I will have a little introduction. Then I'll talk about a couple of things that pop into my mind, and then I'll probably have just an offbeat topic or something that I think about. And I can tell you that one of the topics coming up for certain is going to be everything you need to know in life you can learn from the movie The Godfather. And and The Godfather 2, actually. It is my absolute favorite movie. I think they're almost perfect. Those movies are almost perfect, but there are so many life lessons to be learned. And it's not just, someone pisses you off, you whack them. I'll give you one example that you never use in business, that you never see people use in business. And if they did, we'd probably be doing a lot better. And I've often said, you look at the government, and the congressmen and senators, those guys are all corrupt, man. They're all grifters, right? And the government would run a hell of a lot better if the mob ran it. And I stand tall in that. I will die on that hill. And it's like, oh, sure, the mob is corrupt, but at least you know it going in. And, they're going to get their taste on everything. So you can deal with it. On the other hand, you really can't when the politicians are totally gaslighting you. But everything you need to learn, you learn in the movie, you can learn in The Godfather. And the one that I'll give you one little taste of it is if shit goes sideways at your job and you've got, 3 or 4 people that are talking and no one's following the same path or whatever, and stuff goes sideways all the time. There's only one way to resolve it. Or if you've got coworkers that are bad, they're beating their heads together, they just don't seem to click. There's only one way that you can fix it. And I've learned it by watching The Godfather. And, because they'll be sniping about each other and they'll be trying to, cut each other's legs out and all this surreptitious stuff. So here's what you do. You call a sit down. That's what the Don did with the 5 families. He said, okay, we're going to put all the 5 families in the room. We're going to get this settled once and for all. I actually used that in a job one time I came in and I took over this job running this creative department for an ad agency. And I had 2 production artists that, were both very good and you needed, but they hated each other. They absolutely hated each other, could not stand each other. And it was every day I had someone in my office, one or the other in my office complaining and bitching about him. And finally I said, that's it. We're having a sit down. I called them both in, sat in the conference room, and I put them on at a round table around a conference room. And I said, all right, go. I want you guys to just bitch about each other and take each other apart until we get this all out of our system and move on. And that's the way I think that you got to do it. You arrange the sit down. So one of the subjects that I'll be doing in the future is that I will be doing in the future is going to be everything you need to know about life. You can learn in the movie The Godfather. Hey, Lynn, how are you doing? Or actually, Marlo, how are you doing? How are things up in Swamico? And my goddaughter just bought a house up there, bought a house on the lake up around that area. I believe she did. So she is up there. It's such a beautiful area. Oh yeah, here we go. Jacob in the van says, it's great. Look at Vegas, for example. It was much better when the mob ran it. Yeah, you didn't get in trouble, man. You knew, man, I'm not going to interject myself into those circles, mind you, but they certainly have, I guess you could say, a ruthless efficiency with the way that they attack some of the problems. Some of the other things that I'm going to do, I know Zabe used to do a top 3 Tuesday. I have yesterday I did a top 5 list, my top 5 alcoholic drinks for the holiday season to get you through the holidays. Today I'm going to do one, and that'll be a function of the show. I'm going to do the top 5 hottest female animated characters from Christmas specials. And I think you're going to be surprised when you see who is number 1. But we're right in the middle of all the Christmas special season and then the bowl season too. Um, and I was out to lunch. The college bowl season is the most effed up thing ever. And I was out to lunch with a couple of buddies of mine, and we started talking about NIL money, and we started talking about college football bowl games, and everyone who I have spoken to, pretty much everyone across the board, when they went to the playoff and they changed the bowl system as it is now, where they got rid of the conferences, and it's all a big money grab anyway, and then they're moving these playoffs around to the Rose Bowl and the Fiesta Bowl or whatever. It just messed everything up, and I think so many people have lost. I think it has lost some of its luster. It's just lost some of its appeal. Yeah, it's good football. So I said, yeah, it's good college football, but is it good for college football? And I'm not so sure that it is. I mean, athletically on the field, you can't argue with how talented it is, but there's just something about losing. There's the Pac-10 versus the Big Ten, and the year that Northwestern would sneak in, and then when Oregon started to rise, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Washington State comes in on one odd year. The the reason I started thinking this is I was out to lunch at one of my favorite places, O'Donoghue's in Elm Grove, and the waitress is home on break, and she goes to IU. She's an Indiana fan, or an Indiana student rather. She's graduating in the spring, and so we asked her. We said, "Are you going to the Rose Bowl?" And she goes, "I don't know. It's a lot of money." And I wasn't really as harsh in my comments as the guy that I was with, but he looks at her, he goes, "Listen, you have to go. They haven't been there for 100 years, and they're probably not going to go for another 100. Like, well, you don't want to break the girl's spirit, mind you. But I think by the end of the lunch, we had her talked into I think I'm going to go. So we all gave her a big tip, and we said, put that into your Rose Bowl fund. I think that there's something about the way those bowl games set up that it made New Year's Day. I mean, that was your schedule, right? You got up in the morning and you had the Cotton Bowl. Now, I am really old because I believe that was Lindsey Nelson who always called that. So you had the Cotton Bowl was always the first thing. Then you go into Keith Jackson in the Rose Bowl. Right. And is it even New Year's Day if you don't see that picturesque shot of the sun setting against the San Gabriel Mountains over the Rose Bowl? Till you see that, no, it's not it's not New Year's Day. Which I should make a note of that. I think that I could do a whole show on the top 5 iconic photos in sports that happen every year, that you look forward to every year, because that would be one of them. To see that shot, sure, it's been done a million times, but that's kind of the way you look at it, and you go, hey, it's New Year's. Another one might be the azaleas blooming in Amen Corner down behind number 12 at the Masters. That's kind of like an indication that spring has shown up. But I'll make note of that. Maybe we'll go through what my 5 favorite pictures are. But like I said, today we are going to, I'm going to go through the top 5 animated female characters. And we haven't really seen any, you go back. I don't know if it's your youth or in your memories of your youth, but, are there any, and you can jump in on the comments out there, are there any new holiday classics? If you take a look at, okay, when you look at all the holiday classic movies, you will have oftentimes people will say, well, the new classic is Elf. And it's like, okay. And is that, how old Elf is? Elf is 22 years ago, and that's the new one. I want to say Christmas Vacation is almost, damn, that's got to be almost 40 years ago. Think that came out in the 80s, mid 80s. So those are considered to be the newest ones. And, those are pretty damn old. And 89. So yeah, it's 35 years. So are there any new ones? I have no idea. So that's another one we could put on. But but anyway, what got me on the bowl thing was not only the girl from the waitress who went to Indiana, but there's a TV show on, or the TV was on, and the TV was playing today the Bush's Boca Raton Bowl of Beans. That was the Bush's Boca Raton Bowl. And I mean, who doesn't set their alarm, for that, with Toledo versus Louisville in Boca? It's like, why? And if you want to talk about a whole lineup of just powerhouse bowl games, if you're into it, you can lock in with that, followed by Western Kentucky versus Southern Miss. And then, of course, rounded out tonight with Scooter's Coffee the Scooter's Coffee Frisco Bowl. And that's not coming from San Francisco, where they shortened San Francisco to Frisco. No, we're talking about Frisco, Texas. Coming up this weekend, of course. Now, the one that I would go to, I wouldn't mind going to if I was a team, would be the one coming up tomorrow. And that is the Sheraton Hawaii Bowl. Hell yeah. There's no, Hawaii versus California. Damn right I'd be going out there for that bowl game. But then you got the Game Above Sports Bowl. I don't even know what Game Above is. Then you have the Rate Bowl. Just rate. I don't know. Just RATE, the Rate Bowl. Not mortgage rate, not rate lending. It's just rate. So no clue what that is. You've got the Serve Pro First Responder Bowl. And Serve Pro, right, is the when you get water in the basement. Is that the place that you go? You go to Serve Pro. Damage restoration. So they've got, Serve Pro. That's such a good deal. Remember, we lost our basement. We had like I don't know. We were going to get covered up to $5,000, and I think when by the time they brought those carpet dryers out and all the dehumidifiers that they bring in at an insane amount of money an hour, all the money was gone to remodel the basement. So we know where it's going. It's going to their bowl game. Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl, which was just the Pinstripe Bowl. Penn State and Clemson, but that's on December 27th in New York. It could be, I'm not going to go to a bowl game. I have no interest in going to a bowl game where I might be cold. The whole idea of going to a bowl game is to go somewhere when it's cold, follow your team, and go to the sun. Now, I get it. I get New York City. I will give you New York City because New York City and around Christmas time is beautiful, but it could be very cold. The Wasabi Fenway Bowl, UConn versus Army. No. Why? Why would I even want to do that? And my son lives in Boston. I still wouldn't go out there. Now, the Pop-Tarts Bowl with BYU and Georgia Tech, that is at Camping World Stadium, and I was down at that one in Orlando. That's pretty good because if you're down in Orlando for a few days, you can go to Universal, you can go to Disney World, you can go to Rachel's. So there's a lot of things that you can do when you're down there. But that's Georgia Tech versus BYU. And the cool thing is, and now this was really smart on their part. They're both going in. And they changed their uniform slightly for the game, and they all put sprinkles on their helmet. And I'm like, yes, that is perfect for the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Just put some sprinkles on the top of that, and I'm like, well played, well played. The one that I would definitely go to is the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl, presented by Gin and Juice by Dre and Snoop. And with legalized recreational marijuana in the state of Arizona, I can only imagine. I can only imagine. Isleta, New Mexico Bowl. Again, I have no idea what Isleta is. So is it really even helping their business? The Tax Slayer Gator Bowl, where you get Virginia and Missouri, don't care. The Kinder's Texas Bowl, LSU and Houston. Now, I don't think Lane Kiffin is going to be coaching LSU in this bowl game, although he will be taking over the job. The J Lab Birmingham Bowl, again, don't know what J Lab does. It's noise canceling headphones. Okay, so they're probably trying to launch some headphones, break into that market. The Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl, which is that the big showdown between Coastal Carolina and Louisiana Tech. The Music City Bowl, Tennessee and Illinois, not bad, except there's no way in hell I'm going to watch any team. If Tennessee is in the game, I have no interest because I just can't stand Rocky Top. If I wanna, no. The Alamo Bowl, and the Alamo and San Antonio. Yeah, I would definitely go to that one because San Antonio as a city and right in that area where the Alamo Dome is, it's a couple blocks from the Riverwalk, which is pretty kick-ass. The Riverwalk there. Drew and I were down there for the Final Four when it was. That's when Loyola and the Sister Jean extravaganza rolled into town, and the Final Four in San Antonio was like the coolest thing because you would walk on this Riverwalk, and if you've been there, the Riverwalk in San Antonio might be 20 yards wide. It's not, they built it. It's more like a canal. It's not really a river, and it was built and put in there. It wasn't really the natural flow of a river. But when you're walking down one street or one side of the Riverwalk, and you look over and people are outside because the weather is nice, obviously. They're outside having their dinners or their drinks on the patio. And all of a sudden, tired, man. It's up late at Sleighriders. And then all of a sudden you look over and there's Coach K and Mike Bray talking to each other and all these guys that you usually only see on TV. And they're just sitting there in a bar having a pop and, just talking basketball or whatever. So I would go to that one. ReliaQuest Bowl, Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida. If Drew and I went to that one, you probably wouldn't be able to get us off at Dale Mabry Road. If you know, you know. Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl in El Paso, Arizona State, and Duke. Here's one I would go to. I don't know if I want to see these teams, but back at Camping World, the Cheez-Its Bowl. Now, the Cheez-Its Citrus Bowl, it's either going to be the Citrus Bowl or the Cheez-Its Bowl, right? Cheez-Its are not good with the Cheez-Its and orange juice, not Cheez-Its and lemonade. No, it's not a good combination. So right there, the taste combination is throwing me off. SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl. Would you go to Vegas? Sure, but Vegas has gotten so insanely expensive. I was just reading an article that a guy and where the hell was he staying? Was he staying at Aria? And he said the bottle of water in the wet bar. Now we all know if you go into a hotel bar, you do not get into that wet bar unless you're on an expense account. No. And he said that there was took a bottle of water. And it wasn't even, it was just your bottle of Dasani or something like that. Just a regular old bottle of water was $28 coming out of the wet bar. $28. That's insane. And then they're wondering why they can't get people to go out there. Well, I don't know. $28 for a bottle of water. You got to be crazy. A bottle of water That was, back in the day, you go downtown, that's 5 hands of blackjack on a $5 table, 28 freaking dollars. But it is the Las Vegas Bowl. And then we get into the semifinals where you got the Rose Bowl is going to be Alabama versus Indiana. I think it goes without saying. Quite simply that everybody is an Indiana fan this year, especially playing Alabama. Roll Tide. So I'm going to be cheering for Indiana. And now another thing for Badgers fans, what's great about Indiana being in the bowl is you can still wear your red and white. Okay, you just cover up the W, put a white pullover over the top of it. It looks like you're an Indiana fan. So let's see, Andrew. If I talk to Wink, tell him love the coverage. Yes, Wink was back. Wink is up. If you want to go to the YouTube page, Wink McAllister's report. He was uncovered. He went on a bit of when he found out that the game was taken off the air. I'm still trying to figure out how to put the band back together. I'd like to put that band back together somehow. I don't know how to do it because I don't own a radio station, but we'll figure out a way to make it work. Maybe we'll workshop that during one of these shows. But yeah, we found Wink, and he had gone on a bender and got thrown out of the house by Trixie because she doesn't like his drinking. She wasn't going to live through that again. Ended up in a flea bag motel near Midway Airport in Chicago. And well, you'll have to listen to the report, but there may or may not have been a murder and a dismemberment in the room next to him that he was unaware of. But if you want to go back and listen to it, Wink's coverage of that Bears game is up, and Wink will be with us now through the end of the Green Bay Packers season. Haven't decided whether or not, he was never getting paid by the game. So he was doing it for free. So he may do it for free here or not. I'm not exactly sure if that will be the case. And let's see the final. Then we're into the college football playoffs, but we can't forget the Duke's Mayo Bowl, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, the Trust and Will Holiday Bowl. I mean, it's just, it just sucks. I mean, it's not good. There's just too many bowls. There's too many crappy teams. And, I pine for the days. I long for the days where you go back and the oddest bowl was the Astro Bluebonnet Bowl. And I think there were maybe only 7 or 8 bowl games then. So, I mean, you had to be pretty damn good to get a bowl bid. And not anymore. Anyone can go. But I do respect a lot of the teams that were really close to making the bowl and said, screw it, we're not going to go. And this is not, everyone came down on Notre Dame and saying they were crybabies. But, I mean, it was Auburn, a few other big programs just said, no, I can pound sand. We're not going to go do it. So I do have a lot of respect for that because it's just, everything has turned out to be a great money grab. So what's going on in Milwaukee? I don't know how I missed this, but I went back and I was, looking for. I was back. I was just looking for things to talk about, and I completely missed this. And it was a couple of weeks ago, and had I known it, I would have dug into that and maybe even sent a correspondent to it. But right here in Milwaukee, the weekend after Thanksgiving was held at the Hyatt Regency, was Ponyville Cider Fest 2025. Ponyville Cider Fest 2025. Now, you may be asking yourself, what exactly is Ponyville Cider Fest? Any guesses? Any guesses out there what Ponyville Cider Fest may be? Well, Ponyville Cider Fest 2025 is, it says if you love game shows and reality competitions, this is the year for you. Um, I don't I don't think it was game shows like Price is Right or Jeopardy. No. It is the place to go. Ponyville Cider Fest is the place to be if you're into My Little Pony. Yes, it was a My Little Pony lovers, like a brony convention. It's like, are you freaking kidding me? Any of the, any of the role playing stuff, I just don't get. Hey, and as Drew and I would always say, you do you, man. It's plant your freak flag wherever you want, but you don't have to I don't have to respect it, but you do what you want to do. Yeah. So bronies, they're called. They're fans of My Little Pony, which I'm just gonna say that after the age of 10, I'm gonna say 10, but I don't know if maybe that's too old or too young for a cutoff, but I'm going to say 10. After the age of 10, you should not be a fan of My Little Pony. Okay. You should revoke your fan card. You should especially not be a fan of My Little Pony when you're a 42-year-old overweight man, dressing in and up in like it's like a furry thing and a unicorn horn head. It's like, what the hell is wrong with you? This is a whole discussion under what color is the sky on your planet, because I do not get that at all. And the problem was I was going to put some pictures up, but they don't put pictures on their website, or at least I couldn't find I could not find any photos. There were not many photos, and there certainly weren't close-ups of anyone dressed up as a pony. But I think if you're down at the Hyatt Regency and you're trying to figure out who the ponies are or who the people are at the convention, I don't think it'd be that tough. And because it'd be like, are you My Little Pony lover? Yeah, how could you tell? Because you have a tail coming out of your ass. That's how you could tell that they are a big fan of My Little Pony. But when I got into the website, and you can go, it is PonyvilleCiderFest.com. And they've got everything there. They've got your schedule of events, what was going on. They have they have the main events. And that's spelled MANE, the main events. And My Little Match Game was a game. Pony Court, which I hope to God that Pony Court is like a people's court for ponies, for bronies. I really do, because if it was like small claims, I would pay money to watch two My Little Pony fans fight it out in court. I hope that is what it is, but I don't believe it is. Of course, some of the Grand Galloping Gala, which is what was a ticketed event, and that's where they had a jazz quartet, of course, probably for prancing around in your pony costume. And then you get into, that was the main events. Then you go into the Barley Room, and in the Barley Room, they had such great events such as Plushie Feud. You know what? Now, the more that I think about this, I might go to this. I might have to go and watch this. Because Plushie Feud would be two groups of people dressed like plushies competing, answering Family Feud questions. Equestria's Next Top Artist, so that's got to be a talent show. And then the After Dark Vendor Hall. Yeah. Stay out of that room, kids. Then you have a whole seminar on pony definition. Is it a My Little Pony? Probably checking for counterfeit My Little Ponies, because you don't want those, infiltrating, the native pony community. Survivor Equestria. Watching paint dry, the finale. I don't even know what watching paint dry is, the first one. Smash or pass? 18 plus. Smash or pass? All you need to know. Yeah. And the Newly Mare game, that's in the fizzy room. But some of the other things that they had is, as I'm reading, as I was reading they have the rules of conduct, which, I mean, you've got to keep everything, don't you? You really have to, make sure people, behave. But some of the rules of conduct I'd like to share with you is, it is dedicated to providing a harassment-free convention experience for everyone, regardless of gender identity and expression, sexual orientation, disability, physical appearance, body size, race, age, and religion. They shoot horses, don't they? No harassment of participants in any form. So that means that it appears as if anything that gets freaky is after 8 o'clock. So, folks, you can get your kids out if they just want to come and get a backpack. You can do that early in the day, and then the freaks come out at night. No, but some of the other thing here, some of the other rules is no sleeping in public areas, which is fine, but how would they know? Because horses sleep standing up. So if you just see anyone standing there with their eyes closed, are they sleeping in a public area? I have no idea. I don't know what this line means. Maybe someone can explain this to me, but cosplay is not consent. No touching. Okay. That's it. There you are. I have really nothing else to say about that. Cosplay is not consent, no touching. Pets are not allowed in the convention area with the exception of service animals. I know that if Kenneth was in the middle of that, there's no way on God's green earth I would be able to control them. No. But of course they have policies with for the cosplayers, and they welcome up everyone and said it's fun to dress off and show off a cool costume. Got to follow these guidelines. No live steel. Okay, good. All costumes must comply with local laws. No bare feet. No sharp protrusions. No firearms. Good. Realistic looking replica firearms are not allowed. Even those marked with an orange tip, which is good. No Nazi or KKK cosplay, which is great, but they hold this in the South. You don't know. Are they convention attendees or just waiting to catch the school bus? No moshing or violent behavior. Do not cut in line or save spots for any of the events. You follow those rules and you are going to have a fun time at Pony Fest. So maybe I will, maybe I will try and get there next year and see what that is. But yeah, Ponyville Cider Fest. Every year it's held here in Milwaukee. Had no idea. Now, they did have a convention here once. And this was the freakiest thing. I was working in the old, when I was a tiny kid, man, it was the Marine Bank building. I think it's the Chase building downtown now. And I worked in that building, and there was the you would go down and then you would go over to Grand Avenue and go across the walkway, and we'd go over there and grab lunch every once in a while. And I go down one day for lunch, and I see a little person, uh, and like a dwarf. Okay, I think you can call them dwarfs because it's a medical condition. Because I had a friend who was he his condition, he was called the Peter Pan dwarf. Um, I don't know, probably not midget is probably not right, but okay. So you saw these, dwarfs, little people, and you can go for months and not see them. Not that they're hidden from plain view, but you just don't, you don't cross paths with them. And I go down in the bank and I'm walking and see one. See, that sounds so bad. It sounds like they're not human. And I don't mean it that way. So, okay, I see a little person and I'm walking some more, and it's like, whoa, there's another little person, and there's another one, and there's a group of three of them and four. And then here comes a whole bunch of little people. And it was like it was in Gulliver's Travels, for God's sakes. And I'm like you said, you hardly ever see them. You hardly ever see people like that, much less 30 or 40 in a day. And come to find out that Milwaukee was hosting the annual Little People's Convention, which that explained it. But it was really kind of freaky when you saw that. So what I wanted to get to today, we'll get to another segment. Eventually, I'm going to get this figured out. I'd like to thank the 107 people that are still viewing the dumbest show on YouTube, but it's going to get better. Like I said, I'm just shoveling coal into the furnace to keep this thing going. And when we get back after the first of the year, we're definitely going to have some guests on. I know Billy Gardell from Mike and Molly. Bob Hartz-Abishola is going to come on. Great comic. Jeff Cesario is going to be on. Maddie Vasgersian is going to be on. And when we do these interviews, it's not going to be they can be a little bit more unexpurgated because we're on YouTube. We're not on the radio. So we'll definitely get into some areas that'll be a little bit more fun than we could have ever gotten into on the radio. But what I want to do right now is we got all the holidays seasons coming, or all the holiday Christmas special. Now I've not sat down and watched any of them. There's a couple that I never miss. And one of them that I never want to miss is How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And the other one I don't like missing is I don't really like missing the Charlie Brown Christmas special, even though you've seen it a million times. But the great thing about that is the Vince Guaraldi trio, that whole jazz album that is the soundtrack of that. The soundtrack of that special is fantastic. And so I do like to listen to that. And anytime you get into Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer or any of those Rankin Bass claymation animated shows are some of the best. And then I'm starting to think about it, and I go, if I was going to rate, and I'm going to do that right now, and what I'm going to do is we are going to All right. Is my audio back? Yes. Okay. Well, then I'm going to have to do this because I noticed this yesterday that when I put this up, because I'm running it so it's vertical and horizontal, and I create the vertical thing because that's where you have to put everything on there. So I'm just going to cover this up. And can you still hear? Okay. You can still hear me. Okay. So what I was talking about, I believe, I was talking about the show and show prep. And I said, I've done more. I started to look into the top 5 hottest female Christmas show characters because there were a few of them out there. I'm like, for animated characters, they're pretty hot. And you had your Jessica Rabbit was always the, she's the goat of attractive cartoon characters. And not that, but it was this whole pony thing that got me thinking about this. And, so I started investigating it. And as I started digging into it, I came to realize that I could only come up with 3. And then everything else got real creepy. I was trying to come up with 5, and I could only come up with 3 that were legit. But since I promoted it as my top 5 and I had a graphic made, I have to address the top 5. So 5 and 4 do not count, but I had to have 5 and 4. So coming in at number 5 would be Karen from Frosty the Snowman. And as you see, I have her pictured with Jeffrey Epstein. Because anyone in their right mind would not, you can't, come on, you can't, that's it. There's no, cute young girl, but we're not going down that road. And that would bring us to number 4, which would be Cindy Lou Who. But after that, it's just nothing but a bunch of old Mrs. Clauses who, probably bake good cookies and everything like that. But, you don't call them hot by any stretch of the imagination. But let's go right now. And we're going to give you number 3. Now, this is, I don't know what this is, what the attraction is to this, but this, there's a subculture out there that probably digs this character more than anything and into it. I don't know why. Lois Griffin. You tell me why it is, just kind of like a plain housewife. Maybe that's exactly what it is. It's the hottest cartoon MILF. I don't know. But Marge Simpson, no, I'm not going to go there. Yeah, she did one. They did Christmas shows, but they didn't have a real dedicated Christmas special. And I'm looking for the fake characters, actually. Lois Griffin comes in at number 3. Coming in at number 2. And this is where it's going to get weird here, folks. It's going to get weird. But coming in at number 2, Clarice. I don't know what it is. I'm going out of the species here. But there is something, and Clarice is Rudolph's love interest in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Now, we don't know what her last name is, but I think her dad was Donner, because wasn't Donner might have been the coach who was trying to get Rudolph to fly in all the reindeer games and stuff like that. So I think this was his daughter, and he was ashamed to have Rudolph like Clarice. But I don't know who did the voice of Clarice. But it is the voice in and of itself it's pretty hot. It's kind of hot. I'm not gonna lie, it is kind of hot. And then come on, look at the big eyelashes. You tell me that is not an adorable claim. It's not claymation, but that's not an adorable puppet. Absolutely, it is. But that which brings us to number 1 on my 5 hottest animated TV Christmas special characters. And number 1, and I don't know if you how many of you remember this one. Boom, Jessica Claus. Come on, Jessica Claus from not The Year Without a Santa Claus, from Santa Claus is Coming to Town. I don't know if it's Jessica Claus or Jessica Kringle. But either way, she's got the red hair working. She's got those big green eyes, which goes perfectly with the red hair. And she's got kind of a Nicole Kidman look to her. And that would wrap up my top 5 hottest Christmas animated female TV characters. So, but I want to remind people that tomorrow is Christmas Eve. I'm certainly not going to sit here tomorrow. This is going to be my last show before Christmas. Nailed it with Jessica Claus, short-haired redhead. I'm telling you. And she is the forgotten hottie in the Christmas TV special world. She is. And that will bring us to the final segment of the show before we head off into Christmas break. And I want to thank you guys who've been coming every day. I do this and I realize that there is no freaking way. Man, why would I want to go back on the radio and do 4 hours? If I could get a showdown where we could have fun for an hour a day and you guys could go back and watch it whenever you wanted, that is money. Working an hour a day. That's it. That is my goal. We're running. These have been going an hour 15. It's like, boom, stop in, get the hell out of Dodge. The other thing that I want people to realize, to know, is that what we used to do, and we'll do this probably once a week, what we did during COVID when we started the Timeout Sports Lounge, when Drew and I started the Timeout Sports Lounge, is after shows, we would go on and do a post-show happy hour, where each day we would get, 5, 6, 7, 8 of our smart and good-looking listeners, and we would come on and do a Hollywood Squares type thing, and we'd all sit around and chew the fat and shoot the shit. So we're going to start doing that after the first of the year. So announcements will be made on how to participate in that on the YouTube page. But before we leave you for Christmas, it is time for what color is the sky on your planet? And that is where I go out and I find a news story where you just look at people and you go, what the fuck what color is the sky on your planet? And today we're going to the New York Post. And marketers, products, goods people, cosmetics people, they're always looking for something, a new way to make money. We've seen the emergence of, there's been a little bit more of a lax approach to marketing products on TV, advertising products for private areas, and some of the things that maybe not so pleasant as an odor, or you need to keep things smelling or very cleanly, if you will. And dude wipes, you've got Lumi, and now there is a new item. This brand has come out, and you can get it now if you would like. And I guess it's adjacent to dude wipes. But if you like to lather up with soap or body wash, some experts are saying, hey, just by using regular soap, you could have some painful balloon knot issues. Enter Acid. Yes, a dermatological backed product designed specifically for your butthole. That's right. There are brands that, good for the whole body. I'm a guy, right? I go get the 3-in-1 stuff at the dollar store. I don't care. I'm not getting a lot of cosmetics, but Acid is now a butthole cleanser. Yes, it is. And it says right on the bottle. Whole cleanser. HOLE. Whole cleanser. Asset whole cleanser. Okay. And of course, the CEO, the founder and the CEO, Chad O'Connell says, there are brands that represent almost every inch of the body and tackle intimate problems, but no brand has dedicated itself to the butthole until Asset. And before launching it, he said he surveyed 568 people, found that 93% had experienced butthole-related problems at some point in their life. Yeah, we all have. Yeah, it's a tender area. Got to take care of it, for God's sakes. But more than half said they dealt with anal irritation, or I'm sure they probably called it AI. But now that AI is for artificial intelligence, you can't say, oh, I've got this with AI. Oh, artificial intelligence? No, anal irritation. And O'Donnell says, hey, what? You'd think he was talking about cancer. Anal irritation does not discriminate. It affects everyone. Men, women, gay, straight, all ages and backgrounds. Most of those issues crop up within about 2 inches of the anus, in the perianal area, which is commonly called the taint. And this is where people experience issues like excessive itching, inflammation, pain, swelling. You know what solves that? I'll tell you what solves that. The bidet. Okay. For those of you who listen to shows, that the bidet, Drew and I are big proponents of the day. It is life-changing. But everyday habits, he says, goes on to say, can make things worse. Using traditional soaps, over wiping, relying heavily on wet wipes, sweat buildup. Okay, I guess swamp ass. Who hasn't had swamp ass? Sitting or standing for long periods puts stress on that area. And because most people deal with it at some point, they just don't talk about it. No, because nobody does. Nobody sits around and go, how you feeling today? Oh, I'm doing good, but man, my butthole itches. No. So Mr. O'Connell says, you know what? I'm going to solve that. I am going to go out and I am going to do something about this. And so we have Asset, but it's not just Asset cleansing. He's got a different product as well. And he's got the cleansing, but he's also got whole serum. Asset whole serum, which is designed specifically for the whole area, I guess. And they said the discomfort can have serious consequences. People are often too embarrassed to bring symptoms up to their doctor. No, now I will tell you this. Get past it. If you're having butthole problems, go to the doctor, right? You don't have to bring it up and talk to somebody. You don't talk to a neighbor, hey, Tim, how's your butthole lately? No, you don't do that. But people are embarrassed to bring up symptoms. Go to the doctor, okay? His mission, he says, is to take care of, you know what? I got to do this. Just give me a second here because I have to take this picture and I've got to put it up because you've got to see this because it's killing me, this product. He said, he rolled up his sleeves and he said, I'm going to solve this problem. And he came up with the product. And here we go. Let me just put this up and you'll be able to see exactly what I'm talking about. And it is the Christmas season. So what better than getting Asset Whole Control Cleanser? That's the big tube on the right, or Whole Control Serum. A serum. No, I don't think so. To Mr. O'Connell, who decided to launch an entire company based it's pretty niche if you ask me, although he does expand into, he's got a butthole towel designed to be soft and absorbent. But if you are that concerned about your butthole and you're going to start a whole company, or you're going to go out and spend $14.99 on a butthole cleanser, all I can say to you is What color is the sky on your planet? Butthole cleanser. No, I'm good. I'm good. So that concludes the show for today. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, up to 133. Really appreciate it. Having this many people watching. Like I said, we're just going to keep shoveling coal into the fire after we get back from Christmas. It's going to, this is evolving and changing. If you have any ideas for show content, I'll tackle anything. Just pin it to the comments section. Go and take a look at, and I know it's me singing, but this time I think I did a pretty good job on this song. Go to look at the cover of the day and see the show that we performed last night, or the song we performed last night with the Sleighriders. A white man singing soul music, and it turned out pretty good. It's a song that I know you guys know. And it's one of those songs where you go, oh man, I forgot what a good song that is. So check that out. Most of all, have a very happy holiday. No, have a very Merry Christmas. I'm not going to get into that. Have a Merry Christmas, and I will be back on Monday, which is December, 29th? Is it the 29th? So 23rd, yeah, 29th. Tuesday the 30th. Old buddy Trevor Ramsier is going to be joining us. Trevor, who was host of Inside Wisconsin Sports, is going to be coming on, and he is going to be joining us on that Tuesday. Then we're going to get into, I'm not going to do a show on New Year's Eve because no one's going to be watching it. But then after, when we start cooking in January, we're going to have a lot of fun. Maybe I'll, figure out how to do this. But I would also highly recommend bookmark this channel and subscribe to it, because there are going to be some big changes coming in toward the end of the first quarter to this channel that I think you guys are going to like. So I appreciate you guys sticking around again. Merry Christmas. And as I always like to say, this season and every holiday season, today, tomorrow, and every day in the future, make good choices.